back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Jackson Wink MMA, or also known as for this video Team Holly Holm, is explaining why there will be no apology for Cris Cyborg, who was called a dude by one of Jackson Wink MMA or Team Holly Holm's staff photographers after UFC 219. Now, at UFC 219, we know the results by now. Cris Cyborg beat Holly Holm via unanimous decision, defended her featherweight title, and after the fight, you know, it looked like they were being respectful toward each other. And coming into the fight, aside from the little, hey, make sure you sinus testing her and make sure you sinus testing her too, Holly Holm and Cris Cyborg, they didn't really engage in too much disrespect before the fight. Now, after the fight, this all happened. One of Team Jackson Wink MMA, or I'm just gonna fucking say Team Holly Holm, one of Holly Holm's staff photographers, or Jackson Wink staff photographers, posted what you guys saw on the last video. And if you haven't, well, I don't know why you're clicking this one, because you don't know what the fuck's going on in the prerequisite video to watch this video. But either way, so the staff photographer said, yo, this dude is tough as hell. He said that Holly Holm was the first to make his nose bleed in a fight. So he essentially was calling Cris Cyborg a man or dude, whatever the fuck, but he said he, dude. So, and we all know by now, Cris Cyborg, for how many years now, has been getting called a guy or a transgendered, and I was explaining some of the stuff going on to Michael, and he was like, well, to be fair, and this is a super casual fan, he said, I think it's got something to do with the jawline. But either way, dude, I don't give a fuck if a chick's got a jawline, that type of jawline or not, dude. As long as she don't have a dick, she's not a guy. So all jokes aside, everyone in Jackson Wink explained why they're not going to be giving an apology, because he said it wasn't like a joke. It wasn't. It clearly it's a joke saying Cris Cyborg's a dude, but what was not a joke is he's saying that he didn't just the dude doing it. It was in response to something Cyborg did. He didn't just do it because he was an asshole. It was retaliatory. So I'll read Jackson Wink MMA's reasoning for not giving Cris Cyborg an apology, for their team not. And I also said in the last video, if this photographer called Cris Cyborg a dude, it's being framed as the entire Jackson Wink MMA, which is essentially being framed as Team Holly Holm. So it's looking like Holly Holm or Holly Holm's coaches or Jackson Wink is fucking calling Cris Cyborg a man, when really it was just some photographer that is a fan of Holly Holm, essentially. I mean, think about it. If one of your I said this in the other video, if one of your best friends just got their ass whooped and you're going to console them, and you know what I'm saying, you might say some shit. Especially, let's say your friend, and that's what happened here, allegedly. Your friend just got his ass whooped. You're walking backstage and you see your friend's opponent, and they're laughing like, ha ha ha, I just beat his ass, I just beat her ass, ha ha ha. So you go to Twitter like, hey man, fuck that dude that just beat my friend's ass. You know what I'm saying? You say some disrespectful stuff. I'll read what Jackson Wink MMA had to say, but that's what he's saying. He did it in response to something Cris Cyborg did. Cris Cyborg's not the victim here. So that's what Jackson Wink MMA is saying. I'll read the statement now. He said, in response to our media person's recent Instagram remark about Cyborg, there is a backstory as to why he made this comment. After Cyborg's victory, she was heard backstage by our media guy calling Holly a bitch and laughing at a photo depicting her own toe in Holly's eye. They were heard mocking Holly's performance. Our media was defensive of our fighter and space, and he used his response on a public forum until yesterday. And he used Cris Cyborg's past history of steroid use in a knee-jerk response. We were unaware of all that backstage talk and his response on a public forum until yesterday. He regrets putting Jackson Wink in this position. We don't condone putting others down. Congratulations to Cyborg and her team, and we look forward to a rematch. Now, this kind of takes me back to that Keaton topic, because it's like, we don't condone putting anybody down, but if you did something first, then we condone it. You know what I'm saying? We don't condone bullying, but I mean, if your kid's an asshole, he probably needs bullied. We don't condone being disrespectful, but hey, if you're talking about Holly Holm, we about to disrespect your shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about that part, but at the same time, if you did go backstage, part of Team Holly Holm, and you heard Cris Cyborg, oh yeah, I just beat that bitch ass, ha ha ha, look, I kick her toe in her eye, bad bitch, and I'm not saying that happened, but You know, what the fuck is your response? Now, the difference here is that wasn't a public scenario. That's all he said, she said. We don't know if Cris Cyborg actually was calling Holly Holm a bitch backstage. We don't know if Cris Cyborg actually had, you know, was laughing at a picture with her toe in Holly Holm's eye. But we do know somebody from Jackson Wink MMA, the photographer, called Cyborg a dude. Now, to me, and this is just me, a fucking random person, that's not a super big deal to me, because I'm looking at it as this is somebody, this is essentially a fan. That photographer is essentially a fan or a friend of Holly Holm. It's, you know what I'm saying? So how many fans or Holly Holm supporters probably said something bad about Cyborg after the fight just because they're, you know, cheering for Holly? And I understand the reason that they want an apology from this guy, I guess, is because he's credentialed. He's just a photographer, but I guess because he's credentialed, he's supposed to represent Jackson Wink MMA, and since this photographer represents Jackson Wink MMA, he's got to make the apology. But then I'll just leave on this note. I'll ask you this question. If that's the case, if the photographers and literally every single person represents Jackson Wink or AKA or ATT or Team Alpha Male, if we literally have to monitor everything their photographers say, do we also have to monitor everything their nutritionists say? Then do we have to monitor everything their fucking teammates say? And then do we have to monitor everything their fucking family says? You know what I'm saying? So how far does it go? In my head, as long as Holly Holm didn't call Cris Cyborg a guy, or Holly Holm's coach, you know, in the octagon say, hey, this is a fucking dude, we shouldn't even have took this fight, and, you know, spit on Cyborg, something crazy, I don't even see why this is such a huge deal. But I guess just because you're a photographer and you know you got credentials, better watch your mouth. With that being said, it is what it is, man. I've had enough of this topic. I'm glad it's over. There's not going to be an apology. I don't even know if there's going to be a rematch. I think somebody pointed out Holly Holm is either 1-5 or 2-5 in her last 5 fights. And it's like, yo, she's fought for like 2 or 3 titles in that time. So Holly Holm is always the right answer, as Chael Sonnen said. Who's one of the baddest chicks on the planet? You know, in whether 135 or 145, the answer is Holly Holm. She's always going to be one of the best in the division, because even on her streak, you know, you have to consider 4 out of those 5 fights were probably championship fights, 5-round fights against a champion. The only fight that wasn't really against the champion, the only 2 fights out of those 3 were Bethe Correia, which she won, and then Valentina Shevchenko, which she lost. So with that being said, man, and I believe the Valentina Shevchenko fight, even though it wasn't a championship fight, was a 5-round fight. Oh wait, Holm versus Correia also main evented Fight Pass, 5-round fight. So even though Holly Holm has not got the W per se in all of these fights, and so her record looks a little iffy in her last 5 fights, one thing people don't consider is they were all championship fights. She's been fighting the best of the best, been fighting champions. So with that being said, man, it is what it is. I'm definitely about to go take a Benadryl and try to go to sleep, because it's the first day of motherfucking sober 2018, and I'm fucking doing pretty good right now. Hey, and the microwave. Hey, yo, our whole motherfucking crib is off of weed. Motherfucking New Year's resolution. So I'm telling y'all, look forward to improvements for the channel. All there is for me to do when I'm not smoking is be more productive, spend less money, which means more money to fucking increase this shitty ass studio, maybe get a green screen back in this joint, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Nothing but 2018 is just gonna be nothing but improvement and growth, which we were already doing back when we were a fucking degenerate pothead back in 2017. Fuck those guys. Alright, you get the point, man. It is what it is. Let the full-time fan know what the fuck you tell me in the comments. I'm out. I still gotta work on the cussing, but hey, I haven't been smoking, so I'm doing good.
Da 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 da! It's the motherfucking DOWG!